Let's go. Yo, get up, nah I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back.
All right, welcome to the 2022 Miami Dolphins Fantasy Football Preview. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. Helping me out with this team preview is Dylan Clemons from Fantasy Six Pack. Without further ado, man, you want to just hit this up?
Yep, let's jump right into it.
All right, let's bring our slides up here. So we get the Miami Dolphins of the AFC East for our first team preview of the season. Starting right off here with the quarterbacks game, we got Tua Tagovailoa leading the way here. Overall ranking over on Fantasy Pros of 115 and a quarterback ranking of 16. Teddy's really not, ranked right now. I mean, you could probably find him somewhere down in like the 400s and in the 40s, but that's not really reliable. Not really any point in saying that, but with that said, man, does Tua have a much shorter leash now this season? Now that he has a pretty capable backup in Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's been all right, not great, but he's flashed. What's your thoughts here with this quarterback room for fantasy football?
I think the Dolphins have done everything to set Tua up to succeed. So I think they're going to give him every opportunity to be their QB1. And I'm kind of digging Tua at his value right now. I think he has borderline quarterback one upside with the weapons they brought in to help him. And they helped the offensive line out as well, bringing over Armstead from the Saints to play left tackle. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about Teddy for Tua. How about you?
I agree. I mean, I do think you bring in a guy like Teddy to kind of push a guy like Tua, possibly, knowing that they could snap of fingers, move to him, and probably the offense, at least the way it's looked in years past, would probably not miss much of a beat.
Sure.
So Tua definitely needs to take a step forward. I think he can do it. I mean, look, you bring in Tyreek Hill. Obviously, Waddle's in his second year. You bring in Cedric Wilson. Preston Williams kind of not a thing anymore. We'll get to that. We'll get to this running back room. It's loaded, but is it? And then, there's just a lot of guys at Tua's disposal to take advantage of here. And I think he is. It wouldn't surprise me if he finished in the top 12 of QBs, but there's obviously a lot of talent there to pass to get there. So I think it's possible, though. But let's move on here to running backs. And as I alluded to with that loaded running back room here, oh, boy, they signed a lot of dudes, man. Chase Edmonds, overall 62, then running back 29. Then we got Raheem Mostert, whose most recent signing. Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed. They have Alec Ingold for whatever that's worth.
It's just an island.
What do you do? Who's the guy, man? Who do you trust the most? Who do you want?
I think you trust Chase Edmonds the most, especially in PPR, just because he's going to get a lot of the passing down the passing down work. But RB20, that seems a little early, and I don't love the value for him, to be honest. Mostert, you can't really trust him to stay healthy. And Sony Michel, what we saw from him with the Rams last year, he gave you some good fantasy weeks, man. And it sucks that he's, we're looking at it, he's third on the depth chart right now. That sucks. And then Myles Gaskin, who was their lead back last year, is fourth in the depth chart, and it's like he just couldn't get it done. The offensive line was bad last year.
Keep in mind, this isn't true depth chart. The depth charts were a little shuffled, where I found all the depth charts on different stuff are different. Sure. So what I did is I just did it by Fantasy Pros ranking. Just felt like that was the way to do it. Me personally, yes, I like Edmonds. I think he is the guy who's going to see the majority of the work. But it could. I mean, how shocked would you see if it's like 40% for Edmonds, 20% for Mostert, 20% for Michelle? Right? It could just be crazy like that, to where it's like they could just totally split this backfield up and it just be a complete. I'm not chasing Edmonds at that value because I just don't know if he's going to get the work to get, especially a 62 overall. That's really rich.
Yes.
I don't mind taking a shot at like a Michelle or even a Mostert that late. And at that point, you're just kind of going, I'll take a chance.
Yeah.
So I do like that there. So the receivers here, obviously big trade in the offseason here with Miami snagging Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. Overall 25, wide receiver 9, which has dropped since he went to Miami, by the way.
Yep.
Quite a bit. Jaylen Waddle obviously dropped since the signing or since the trade of Hill, 43 and 18. And then just some guys. I mean, Cedric Wilson was kind of a thing in Dallas for a little while. And then Preston Williams, like I mentioned, sort of has fallen off the map. It was a kind of a dynasty darling there for a while, but never really could put it together. And then there's just a couple dudes. So I want to ask you here, I mean, so he has fallen in the rankings. How far did Tyreek Hill fall in your rankings?
Oh man, he's got to take some sort of a hit, right? With Tua as his quarterback over Mahomes, and I'm just looking at ECR right now to see who he's kind of going around. Like he's going right after CeeDee Lamb before Keenan Allen. I'd rather have Keenan Allen, Joe. I'd rather have Debo, who's going behind him. I'd rather have him over Mike Evans.
I mean, it's the Mike Evans, the Debos, it's the AJ Brown, the Keenan Allens, T Higgins, Deontay Johnsons. It's it's interesting. I'm not. My personal ranking of him, I probably should have had those pulled up, but I can get to that pretty quickly here. Now, I'm looking at half PPR. That's kind of where I just kind of go in the middle. So my personal ranking of him is 9. So I'm spot on with it. I dropped him. I had him. I believe I had him right around 4 or 5. I had him after Kupp, Jefferson, and Chase, and probably right around that Adams and Diggs range. So that's kind of what I was looking at. And then as soon as he moves away from Kansas City, you just think, no way. I mean, look, not only does Kansas City basically feature 2 receivers and one of them's a tight end, Miami and Mahomes is light years better than Tua. I don't care if people like Tua or not, but it's just not even close to the same. But Hill this is a different offense, right? They like to run the ball a little bit more. With 6 running backs, Tyreek Hill is now going to have to battle with Jaylen Waddle, who is a proven talent. I mean, there's no doubt about it. That was always the thing in Kansas City. It was always kind of like, oh well, there's always this is the guy. This is the second receiver. There's never a second receiver in Kansas City. Sorry, guys. This doesn't happen. At least with Tyreek there, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
And then they also have they don't have a Travis Kelce, but they got Mike Gesicki, who saw like 123 targets last year. I don't know if anybody realizes that. It's crazy. We'll get to that in a second. But, I mean, so there's not going to be the volume of passing in this offense that you got with Kansas City for Tyreek, and it's not going to be as quality. So it just I love the talent, but I mean, come on, we saw that one Twitter video. It's like, like rockets to Hill, and Hill had to stop and catch the ball. Everybody caught on to that pretty quickly, guys. Like, way to try to fool us, but no.
And even when even when Tyreek Hill was in Kansas City, it's not like he was the model of consistency either.
No, absolutely not.
Like for a few years, he was very boomer bust, and with him being in the wide receiver room with Jaylen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, who you talked about, and Tua has that built-in chemistry with both those guys. Waddle going back to college, and Gesicki the last couple of years. So, yeah, Tyreek being here definitely helps Tua, but it definitely doesn't help Tyreek Hill's fantasy value. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So, real quick, do you think Jaylen Waddle is kind of a value now at this point, or is that still a little high?
I think it's a little high, Joe. I think it is.
I think PPR he might maybe make that up a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
but that's still kind of a reach. I think I'm kind of out on this passing offense
I am
altogether,
too.
to be honest with you. I don't mind taking like a stab at Tua as a QB2
Yeah,
if I need
super
it,
flex for
but
sure. I like him as a
I'm not sure
middle
I'm loving
tier QB2 for sure.
not sure I'm loving the receiver value here because I'm not sure you're finding value in it. You're
No.
paying for ceiling at this point. But
Agreed.
let's finish off here with the tight ends. And as I mentioned, Mike Gesicki here, Durham Smythe, and Adam Sheehan finish things out. So I talked about the targets that Gesicki got last year. I think it was 123.
That is a good number.
It actually kind of shocked. Actually, 112 still.
Yeah.
Still really shocked me. How much of a hit does he take now that Hill is there?
I think he gets hurt a little bit too. I don't see him getting 112 targets. Probably around 90-ish if I had to take a guess. But yeah, even last year with those targets, for some reason, Joe, this is sticking into my mind when he had 7 targets one game and he didn't have a catch.
Yeah, that
I like the targets, but a little bit of bad targets here and there. But
it was against Baltimore. You're totally right. I do remember that. Yeah.
I don't remember if that was a Tua game or if that was a Jacoby Brissett game, but
I feel like Tua was back by week 10.
I want to say he was too.
But he didn't score a lot of touchdowns. He only scored twice. So you're right. Not the greatest targets out there, but like
I'm looking
for a
at
tight end. I mean, it's fine. Like I'll take it if I don't get one of these top guys, which you got to pay for. But yeah, it's not. He's not anybody I'm like super excited about. There's just a lot of weapons, like I said, and the quality of targets just isn't there, as we mentioned already. So.
I mean, but I don't hate the value though at tight end 12, the borderline tight end 1. That's okay. But
yeah,
if you're waiting on tight end, kind of the punting tight end strategy, so to speak, Gesicki's a decent option.
He's fine. I mean, after that, you're looking at Cole Kmet and Hunter Henry and Noah Fant and Albert O and Logan Thomas and who knows, right? I mean, we don't know. So, all right, man. Well, that is it for the Miami Dolphins team preview. I want to thank you all for listening and hit that subscribe button and tune in for one of our other ones. Peace.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.